Well, hello, everybody, listeners to the Companion to the Companion. It's Ian and I again, and we are here for episode number 49. We are 7/31/97 at Shoreline in Mountain View, California. Hi, Ian.
Sam, I'm honored to be here.
Oh, good. Me as well. We're discussing a show in a state that you're currently residing. That's fun.
It's true. Another show that you and I were both at.
I was thinking about this when I was listening because I remember where I was in the venue. We were towards the back of the seated section before the lawn on, at this time, Fishman's side. Were you with us? With me? I can't remember. I'm digging
I
deep.
don't recall. I remember walking into the show with you guys. And then I remember being with Tack, aka Matt D, throughout the show. Yeah, we were together at least in the second set. I think maybe Matt and I were together second set, and then we got stubbed up to where you were or wherever you were for the second set. And the reason why I say that
happened a lot,
is because I have the same, I say this very humbly and modestly, I have the same birthday as Jerry Garcia. So when they played Happy Birthday at the show, I remember all you guys kind of turning around. And I think it was Ryan that was even like, "It's that guy's birthday." And then you guys were like, "Oh, happy birthday." Because
I remember that too. Yeah.
So we were together at that point in the show for sure.
Wait, are you telling me you are the reincarnation of Jerry Garcia?
Sometimes I feel that way. Yeah. So yeah, it was a special show, and I gotta say, in retrospect, a big part of going to Phish shows is like the touring aspect of it as well. And my memories of going to this Shoreline show, like coming off Ventura, which was like dusty and intense, and then I remember we like kind of just found a random hotel room, and like late at night. And then we went to Shoreline the next day, got there pretty early. And then we had plans to go to our friend Morgan's dad's house in Oakland after the show. And I remember we saw the Shoreline show, and then you guys, I'm pretty sure Ryan drove, and I remember lots of bridges. And I remember thinking, how is he driving right now? And we got to Morgan's dad's house, and Morgan's dad's house was like a paradise. It was on 3 different levels. It was up in the hills in Oakland with this incredible view, just plenty of space for all of us, really comfy. So it was just like to get off the road, since Phoenix. I just remember like, oh, this is great. And it being my birthday, I just have like really, really fond memories of that whole experience. So magical couple days.
Isn't that where the picture of us was taken?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You and me out on the deck.
Yeah. There's some.
Are you okay if I use that as the cover for this?
Absolutely.
On our posting?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, I have a lot of good
pictures the time
from that house. Yeah.
Yeah, no one will recognize us because we're so old now. That's perfect.
You spent the afternoon writing in your journal, detailing some of the things that had happened on the road.
I bet you I have that journal somewhere. I should find that.
So yeah, great memories of it. They're playing. This is their first show, or have they played at Shoreline before, Sam? I think they had, hadn't they? 95?
I think this was their first entire by themselves Shoreline show. Prior to this, they did like Bridge School. Maybe that was after. I can't even remember. Well, this, looking at it, was actually their 4th time playing here. It looks like they played there in 92. Jeez.
With Santana.
What was 92? No, this was...
Horde?
Let's look. August 29th, 92. Yeah, I guess that was Santana. So they did 2 Santanas in 92, and then in 95, they played 9/30/95 was their first show by themselves. So this was their second full night by themselves. But I think we can openly say a different Phish than they were in 1997 and 95 for sure.
So they already played 3 times at Shoreline. They're getting comfortable. Well, I think this is the show where they finally find their footing and they're able to really connect with whatever Grateful Dead fans are in the audience, or at least I feel like put on a show that they feel confident is a mind-blowing one. I feel like the band knew they played a great show this night. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, with Shoreline, like, I don't know, people talk about it as Bill Graham built this place for the Grateful Dead. I mean, maybe I never saw the Dead there, so I don't know, but to me, it just felt like a standard outdoor theater. Right? And the rumors are it's built on a trash heap, or a landfill. I don't know. I always felt like it was San Francisco is such a beautiful town, and the Bay Area is such a unique, like, really like a lightning rod of West Coast America.
Right.
But this venue is very meh. Like, it sounds good there.
Right.
And in 99, we were front and center, like just off center, like 12 rows back, and my God, did it sound good. That was it changed my mind on the venue itself. I was like, oh, so you just need to be up here. This is fucking amazing.
Right.
But yeah, this night was fun. It was just a regular big outdoor venue. And we're going to let the listeners in on, we always do a special kind of breakout. And instead of songs for the rest of this tour, we are going to kind of discuss the handful of shows before each of these shows. So at the end of discussing Shoreline, we'll kind of go over the shows that happened between North Carolina and California here and have a little bit of a kind of a recap on the tour. But I did not see this show as a standout from the couple before, but I still remember having a really great time, and there was some really great music. And I think I guess broadly, big strokes, what sets it apart from the rest of the shows is I think some of the most circusy psychedelia of the tour happened this night. I think a lot of their psychedelic jamming became a little more focused and a little more, either it was groove-based, rock-based, or avant-garde. But this show was very, when it got avant-garde, it was quick, and it was very weirdly circusy, spacey. It happened in 3 songs, it seems.
Right.
But they were playing tight. They were playing clean. Fishman is almost the star every night in a lot of ways. Mike Gordon is stepping up in a way that I had never seen. I was seeing, this was my first Ghost, the second Ghost. Yeah. But this tour was the first time I'd ever seen Ghost.
Yeah, he's stepping it up.
He's amazing. And Trey's like rock god bravado. And Page is getting really confident with a lot of the synth sounds on top of his incredible playing already. I mean, the band is, most of this tour, the band was on fire. And I was very, very, very into this show. And, we will discuss later. I don't know if it deserves to be above the couple nights before, but it definitely is a stellar performance.
Yeah, this whole run is amazing. And I think what pushes it above, just like all other shows, is setlist. I think ultimately the Cinnamon Girl Encore probably is just like the nudge that it needs. But I think inarguably, the You Enjoy Myself and the Runaway Jam are 2 of the great long-form jams they've played, period. And I think that almost every show from summer and fall has one, at least one. This one has 2. So, I mean, that's definitely a plus. And not only 2, but 1 in each set and 1 finishing the first set and the other starting the second set. So you have this like straight hour, kind of like New Year's 95, where you're just like, you finish the set in awe and then you started the next set in double awe. So just like what that's going to do to your mood is like, there's just no breaks in there. It's just like this amazing hour of music.
I remember the mic starting and me just going, what is happening?
Yeah.
I was so broken mentally by that point. And, maybe that's why that mic's kind of stayed within the box a little bit.
Right.
Was because there was so much.
Yeah.
And the first set also is a trove of riches. There's a lot of perfect playing. So let's jump into Ghost.
Ghost. It opens up. It's no Amsterdam, but still a Ghost opener. And they're definitely presenting the funk. They're like, we're a funk rock band now.
Right at the top. And I mean, at this point in the tour, this was the 3rd show in, I kind of was just ready for Groove Phish. Like, it was the new thing. They were excited. And to start with Ghost right off the bat, it just kind of got everybody loose. I remember lots of smiling, lots of like just bodies moving in the sun. It was really nice. I remember this day being nice and sunny too.
Yeah, so the Ghost it's a strong opener. It's not an all-time version. It's not 7/23/97, which we will be talking about in a little bit.
I think I said some strong playing, but nothing especially life-changing. Yeah, but really fun.
Totally agree. And then we go into Yamar, Summertime Classic. It's sunny out.
Oh, I can't get enough.
Yeah.
Yamar in the summer.
It's a fantastic version.
it kind of has a jam, like six, like at the end, 6:57 minutes, it starts to kind of go static and move into a jam a little bit, and you're like, okay, maybe. And then at like 9 minutes, you're like, maybe again, and there's this really cool staccato playing. Like they're really, it doesn't go anywhere out there or type 2, but it really like, it's a very interesting Yamar.
Yeah.
I'd say if I was picking songs from the show to listen to, this would be a definite listen.
Absolutely. I think noodling, sure, there's lots of it. Are these noodles perfectly cooked and salted, high-end Italian restaurant noodles that Sam would cook?
Al dente
yes,
noodling.
They are.
There we go.
Yes, they are. This is the best of noodling here. But yeah, I mean, Trey's just doing a summer noodle, and it's so much fun to listen to.
It really is. It really, really is.
Yeah.
Then Dog Stole Things. I don't know. Really good playing, but I kind of remember this one flying by.
Coming in hot. I think it's awesome, Sam. I think it's
good.
Perfect tempo for Dog Stole Things. This is what I'm looking for, 7/10/97. I feel like they finally found it. I feel like it's upbeat. It's really enjoyable. Sure, I don't listen to lyrics. So do you want to tell me that the lyrics are stupid to this song? Go ahead. That's fine. I'm not listening. But I did love this performance.
Okay. I was laughing through that. Sorry. Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed Dog Stole Things.
Thank you. I did enjoy it. It was a guilty pleasure, if you will. And then we go into Limb by Limb, which is another headphones Yamar, or not a headphones on the Companion, but in the fishnet, Yamar and Limb by Limb get the highlighted. I think it's standard amazing. I don't think it's any like better than all the other 97 versions, but I do think all the 97 versions are incredible. And I do remember hearing this and saying to myself, wow, what was that? And it does have a great ending.
It does. Yeah, I'd forgotten that this was when the show clicked for me when I was there. Yeah. I remember enjoying it all. And then this Limb by Limb, they're also like towards the end of set 1 when it's starting to get a little dimmer and the lights are up a bit more. This one I remember really getting to me and thinking the band was so tight. And the ending really stuck with me too, because I just remember being on the floor about Fishman's playing the whole Limb by Limb. And then the little moment at the peak at the end is so massive and so over the top. And then hearing he couldn't do it in the dress. And then he put on the suit and it worked.
It's a great little point at the end, yeah.
Let's hear it for Phish for trying that inhuman drum beat ending. How about that, huh? One of these days I will, man. He tried that one in the dress and it didn't work, and then he tried it in the suit and it worked.
Yeah, and there was this feeling about, it's hard to put into words, and people see Phish now, and I know they still get that same feeling, but being 20 years old at this age and knowing I was on the road for 3 weeks with this band and feeling that they could do anything, that anything might happen, was just magic. And these were those moments where you just laughed out loud and you kind of felt like part of the team, like your energy was helping bring it to that level. And something about this Limb by Limb, I remember just feeling really locked in and connected, and re-listening this time, I'd kind of forgotten. You might suffer from this too, but I don't go back and listen to the audience recordings as much as I do the soundboards anymore.
Uh-huh.
And potentially this show, as well as Desert Sky, suffers a little from that. And when we get to Deer Creek next, both of the Deer Creek shows, I remember having a good time there, but I remember almost never listening to them because the audience recordings they're fine. They're just so boomy and like you lose a lot. And
I don't think they're fine. I think they're really bad. I think Desert Sky and Shoreline sound much better, and the Gorge sound much better than Deer Creek.
Yes, I agree. I agreed. But nonetheless, Limb by Limb's great. And then Dirt. I also like this Dirt. Dirt was really perfect. Really well done.
Right. Shout out to our friend Ty, who was at the show with us, big fan of Dirt. I remember
How do we get Ty Rocco to listen to this show? You know? we gotta hunt him down.
Yeah. I remember him kind of saying in the moment, Ian, did you like that? I really like that one. And I'll be like, oh, Ty likes Dirt. All right.
And also to all our listeners, we've been added to YouTube, so you can go and listen on YouTube. We have one very ecstatic fan on there, it seems, writing some reviews, but we're getting a little traction.
Oh,
so if you don't have Spotify, YouTube is a nice free place to listen to us. There may come a time they pull some of our shows down for copyright again, which blows my mind because I could go watch a bunch of Phish shows on there and they're not pulled down. But anyway,
right.
Check us out on YouTube as well.
Awesome.
Sound off in the comments.
Yeah, no, for sure. Please check us out on YouTube. It's nice to be off just Spotify. We're creatures of habit, and so thank you for putting that up there, Sam. I'll be sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can find Ty that way. Bringing it back around, that's how Ty's going to find us.
And last I heard, Mick and Jen were living in Hawaii, so they apparently must have moved back. So I'll get in touch with them, and
cool.
Yeah, I'll send Mick a text and let him know what's going on.
Why would you ever leave Hawaii? Maybe that's just me.
Well, they were going over there for a job, but yeah, shout out to Mick and Jen, lovely people, great show partners.
Absolutely.
And, Mickey had a great tape collection back in the day, and used to love driving around with you.
It's been a few years. I miss them. I miss all of you.
So we all right, enough with the nostalgia.
Yep.
Let's get back to
Maze.
Nostalgia for this show.
Guys, it's going to be a big nostalgia fest for the next, I don't know, few shows here. We're going to do our best.
So this maze, I don't know, Sam. What are your thoughts on 97 mazes?
I just wrote Yowza exclamation.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I thought Paige was crushing. It's different. It's not that like...
It's jazzy. Much.
Yeah, it's not as pure aggression, straight to the top kind of mazes. They're exploring new areas.
Yeah.
I don't think in my entire life seeing Phish I've ever seen a bad maze. I love this song.
Yeah.
This was also a very, very good version. The rhythm section again in this is like, holy Mike, like some of the runs and the speed, and this gets back to what we were discussing in the last show where the band is just so clean and crispy and they're playing in these ways. Like, I've mentioned there being shapes when I listen to Phish, and it used to be bigger modulus shapes with like smaller shapes bouncing around and running on top of them. Now they're smaller, more intricate, detailed designs of shapes. It's very, I love this maze. I got into it.
And I hear your circus psychedelia in it as well. It's definitely there. So yeah, Maze, always great. This one's 13 minutes. It's long. There's a lot going on. Everybody's playing.
Yeah, I wouldn't skip it.
Their game, but it's not your traditional, just straight up build up the mountain intensity. It kind of goes all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it has a lot of dynamics. It quiets down, it settles down, it ramps up. So yeah, check it out.
I love Paige on his baby grand too. Like just letting him go there at the beginning. Just
right.
So it's just a sound. I love it.
Just the sound. And then we have Glide. And I would just simply say, what a pleasure. What a pleasure it is to get a Glide.
Yeah. Always makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, set list. This is a dream one.
Yeah. And then I saw it again, which I know you're not a huge fan of. And I think it was unnecessary. But I'll take it.
Yeah, the Dog Stole and Saw It Again, neither are my favorites. If I had to pick one, it would be the Dog Stole things from this set. But yeah, this was fine. I mean, it's all right. It's all right.
And then we get to the M. You Enjoy Myself. Are we already there?
Yeah, I think I've told the story on this podcast before, but I'm pretty sure it was 98, but it may have been 99 because I saw the Shoreline shows all 3 years. I'm pretty sure it was 98. And there was a guy walking by right after the Yem started. I remember there was a guy who was kind of near where I was. And it's like, man, every time I see this band, they always play this song.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if they played it this differently every time, I would be in. And the 98 one's also great. But man, when we talk favorite You Enjoy Myself, I love the song for a lot of reasons.
Right.
But if someone was like, man, what is the single most out there You Enjoy Myself you've ever seen? This would be my instant choice.
Right.
This is the circus psychedelia. It is. I don't know. Talk me through it. I got timestamps and all that garbage too, but talk me through it.
Well, I would say every section is all fills, no spills. How do you like that? No spills.
And it gets out there right away. They are not playing around.
No, there is so much extra mustard on this thing. People in limos are pulling over, rolling down their windows and saying, "What is that, sir, you're listening to?" Wink, wink. That was a great Poupon joke. But
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And I think that every little section, we talked about being on rails a lot on our 11/36/96 episode. And I feel like this Yem in a lot of ways is them on rails. Like they are so locked in and committed to this thing being special and unique that every section is just, I don't want to say jammed out necessarily, but just so intricate. And like you said, small shapes everywhere. There's so much to see with your eyes closed in this thing. The tramp section with Paige is, it just starts getting wonky right out the bat. So we have kind of a perfectly played opening section. And then once we get, it really is perfectly played, the composed section. And then we get to the tramp.
It's gorgeous.
And it just starts getting wonky.
Then right away.
Trey starts with his, I don't even know how you say it, but the sort of wonderfully deranged, high-pitched 97 tone. I don't know, what is there?
It's like sludgy outer space funk kind of, but not in like a funkadelic way.
But it's very high-pitched, right? These I don't know what pedal he's using, but
he's probably a pitch shifter, so he's shifting his pitch up a full octave. So it's very plingy and like it sounds computerized almost.
Right. But it's like an electric twang. It has
over. It kind of overfeeds his amp a little too, so it gets this to it that's really, I'll insert a section of that here so people can understand how deranged this is. But like we said in the last episode too, it's going to be hard going forward to discuss these larger jams without playing a 20-minute section.
Right.
But just as a snapshot, like jumping in and jumping out is going to give you a little bit of whiplash, but I'll be gentle.
and then Trey is being hyper repetitive. And the the comparison of the two is just working so perfect.
And Page is kind of the glue in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually, around 15 minutes, we start getting some mic bombs, which you gotta love. And I do remember being at the show, and just like you said, the sound, and just being like, because we had seen the Yem at the Aladdin, and I don't recall feeling bass bombs, but I do recall it at this particular Yem being, whoa.
Yeah, Mike later does, when he shifts away, when they hit the hiatus, and then, the second break, and he kind of shifted away from this sound and this tone, which he was working on perfecting at this point, which was the SWR head, huge ass speakers, like 18s and 10, just a wall, and his modulus bass, which with a graphite bass like that, you have there's just a roundness to your tone and a snappiness to your tone that I don't think like 9789 Mike Gordon will ever be achieved again. And for a bass player to see somebody like that, where it is so big and warm and round and rattles the entire amphitheater, but every little tiny tick of the pick on the string you also hear.
Right.
It was shocking. And the People for a Louder Mic that had existed forever, I think he was so muddy in the mix a lot of the time, or when they tried to get him out front in the mix, it would get so overwhelming. He found the magic sauce this tour, and I guess he found it in Europe and then brought it to these big stages.
Right.
But yeah, it was on display these 3 shows in a row, like this whole tour. But yeah, every night I was in awe. And this was right when I was kind of starting to consider myself a bass player. And, I'd been playing a little bit, and man, it's unbelievable to watch. I guess that leads cleanly into the bass and drum section, which in like 23 minutes, I just wrote Cool Mike and Cool Mike into the vocal jam. You remember that section?
I do. Yes, very, very much so. I have a few more notes, because I found that it was interesting. It was like they eventually at 18 minutes return to the M theme, and it's as tight as can be.
It kind of mellows out and then comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, hold on, Trey starts speeding up and playing like kind of a sped up blues jam. And then there's another mini jam that's kind of like percussive and funky. And there's kind of a noise going over it. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on what that noise was, but it totally works. Yeah. And then the vocal jam is fantastic. I don't know.
I think there's so many weird swells and noises that were just Page really getting into his synthesizer playing this tour.
Yeah, you're probably right. This is one of those
some stuff.
It's ethereal and it's hard to describe, but I can't say it's worth 100 listens. So get in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not casual. You can't throw this on with the kids.
No, it's not casual.
No.
I've noticed I listened to a lot of 97. Obviously, we've been listening to a lot of 97, but yeah, it's not casual, and none of it is. And I throw it on with the family, kind of thinking it's going to be casual, and as inevitably somebody always mentions, "This is pretty intense."
I don't know if this is working for this environment here, Dad.
Anyway, so that finishes up the set, and what an ending to a set.
I think everyone was kind of picking their faces up a little bit after this one, and you knew they were done. It was we're going to walk off stage moment, and you knew it, you felt it, and they left it all out there.
Yeah.
And you had to wonder, what's going to happen? Like set break was wonderful. Everyone was talking about how crazy the Yem was and what could come next. And, they walk out to, it's weird too. We don't get a lot of back-to-back big jam headphones in the book like this. I guess we did the last show. Maybe we will the further we go here, because the improvising is just bigger and bigger in Phish at this time.
Right.
But you were right. 2 nearly half-hour monsters next to each other. And, I remember them walking back out on stage and the lights go down and it was so exciting. And like the Sweet Home Alabama tease right at the top was so like, everybody was like, wait a minute, is this what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And also for everybody, we talk about recording quality. This Runaway Gem can be found on Live Bait Volume 11 as well.
Correct.
So it leaves a little bit, like I would listen to the show first and then listen to that separately, because it leaves a little bit to be desired. After you listen to that, you kind of get mad the rest doesn't sound that good. Although these are good audience recordings.
Yeah.
Whoever recorded them did a great job. But
yeah.
Wow. This gym kind of leveled up a little for me because I listened to it in sequence. So I listened to Yem and then I put the gym on from Live Bait. And it was painful. It was great. Yeah. Wowzers.
I'm just going to keep talking real quick. I'm just going to look up You Enjoy Myself if there had been a long... I mean, I know that the Bella Fleck You Enjoy Myself from the summer was long because that had guests and it had like that extended Bella Jam on it. But I think this might be the longest You Enjoy Myself since Halloween 95. But I'm going to look into that.
The 12/9/95 I know is pretty long too.
Oh yeah, 12/9. Yeah, 12/9. That's
yeah, it just keeps coming back and coming back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyhow,
I thought, Jim started pretty standard. It was good. And it starts to deconstruct a little around 7. It starts to slow down around 10. And then I remember starting around 12 minutes or so, like, I remembered not loving the jam up till that point. I thought it was like, it was interesting. It was unique. But I wanted a soaring jam after that Yem. I wanted something, I needed a little bit of tension release. I needed a little bit of regular guitar. And I didn't get it. And it brought me straight back under the water and was kind of dragging me again in a good way. And then it gets really out there. And, after that 12-minute mark, and there's some really interesting polyrhythmic playing that happens through here. And it is very unique and different than the Yem. And I would give it headphones because it is different. But I'd like to, I think the best, I wrote from 15 minutes to 21 minutes. It is really not for the faint of heart.
No.
And I think in the moment, that's kind of how I felt because it was some of the most weird, unique, groundbreaking sounds and music. It's starting to touch on some of that Surrender to the Airish almost stuff, without horns. And I was mesmerized in the moment, but it almost felt like it was bringing me back to how I felt in the Yem.
Mm-hmm.
And emotionally, I don't know that I held it together. But I don't know that this show ever gave me the catharsis I was looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It doesn't have any soaring jams.
No, and the rest of the show's awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I had a great time this night. But I feel like I left a little bit damaged.
Right.
Maybe this is when Trey talked about how there's these unbreakable rules of Broadway, of theater. You don't, when he was talking about the Sphere and how you didn't want to damage us.
Right.
And there's some things you don't do. Maybe at this point they were so giddy with their playing and their ability to go out on these journeys, and Yem made them so excited that they just jumped right in again with Runaway Jim. And it was, I feel like as a listener, you might want to take a day between the two,
Sure. No,
it might be beneficial.
It's a heavy jam. And I remember at the time it was only my 5th show and I had no idea what was going on. I was just like, this is nuts. just sounds. And I agree with you. I can see in my comments here that, Mike blows it open at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, takes the band a minute to figure out how to complement it. And frankly, they should have laid off a bit more, but it's still, tantalizing listening to them have the conversation and listening to them try and work it out. And then eventually it transitioned into some really incredible psychedelic mush, but it is mush. And it's not for the faint at heart. And I will say, compared to, I don't know why, but some of these 97 shows I just listen to so much more than other shows. And I feel like this Runaway Jim is one of these jams that I just, for some reason, listened to a lot of times. And then when it got released on Live Bait, I listened to it a bunch more times. So it's gotten to the point where it's so familiar now where it doesn't feel as uncomfortable to me. But I do think on a first listen, it's a lot. And I also think
is it a go-to painting jam for you too? Like, is this something you kind of?
It's a great thing to paint to. The perfect thing.
I would think so.
But Runaway Jams can get really out there. I'm thinking of that Sugar Bush 95 Runaway Jam that's kind of extended, and that thing's painful too. Where you're just like, man, this is rough.
It's just weird for them to do it back to back like this. I think that's what sets this show. We're gonna have some arguments after about. This show belongs on the list, but do some other ones from this tour belong on this list as well?
Sure.
And what comes off and what's better and worse. We're splitting a lot of hairs here. But I think having these two really out there jams back to back is unique for the band. I don't think they did this very often.
Right. I agree. Yeah, they knew that the audience was in the headspace. So we get through the Runaway Jam, and then we're gonna cool out, man. Let's just cool out with the Soaring Pretty Jam for Sam.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little...
Well, it ends with like 7 or 8 minutes of just sludgy, but triumphant, but sludgy. I remember at the end of the gym too, thinking like, this has been long and I don't know if it's going to end. Has this been the whole set? It was one of those moments. I'm like, what is, and it really slowed time down in this way that was, people talk about Phish now and how Phish is way better at getting, I should say 3.0 Phish. I'm gonna make a 3.0 compliment here. That they're better at getting out of jams than they used to be.
Right.
And this is one of those moments where if this Runaway Jam was like 20, 22, and they kind of shaved off the end, it might have been better.
Right.
I don't know. I still enjoy it. I'm just, and Circus was a nice, pretty catharsis to get out of it.
And it was beautifully played. It was really perfect. And there's like a little, I don't know. I feel like I got kind of stuck on the Runaway Jam. There are parts of the Runaway Jam that I really just adore. There's kind of like a lovely mid-section jam where Trey's playing his watery tone and strumming as it returns to Jim. And I thought that was really special. I don't know. And then I feel like in around 19 minutes, it's really locked in. I mean, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the part I like the most too.
But yeah, they're like locked in for Hose. And I had a vision. I remember on this last listen, I listened to it 3 times for this podcast. And I had on the third one, I was doing my eyes closed with the headphones thing. And I had like the Roger Rabbit tunnel kind of vision where I'm kind of like going through the tunnel and then you come out the other side to all the animation and the sunshine and everything. Like, I feel like I went through that in Runaway Jim where they kind of like took me through the cartoon tunnel. really powerful. So yeah, they really do go to Fishland in this jam. And I appreciate that, even if it's not for the faint of heart and it's not for everyone. I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I like the extra long stuff. I think one of the things that frustrates me about some of the new jams is they're maybe so quick to leave when they're kind of trying to find something, and they're just kind of like, Trey will just kind of hop on a major key Bliss jam, instead of digging a little deeper to find something a little gross and disgusting. Because I do want them to find, I want them to find that trouble sometimes.
I mean, it was, and being young as we were, and being hungry and being ready for, do whatever, play one song all set. We were the ideal audience for this. And I think my patience for some of this has changed a little bit, but I bet you in the moment, I mean, when I was at the Sphere with you, some of those jams were this long and they were amazing and deep and beautiful. So I'm always there for this. And it was something.
I almost feel like a difference would be in that, like, this jam at this point in time, they were still competing with each other. So in this jam, as an experienced Phish listener that kind of understands how the band plays with each other, because like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, what? You can hear that there is a lot of competition for themes in this. There is a battle in sections of this jam where either Trey or Mike or Paige or somebody is pushing for a theme and the other one is fighting back and trying to go in the other direction. And I think at a certain point we know that after The Great Went, they agreed to not do that anymore. They weren't going to critique. And I feel like these days they're much more likely to just kind of like, if they sense there's competition, they kind of let's take a step back, let's regroup right here, and then we'll rebuild forward. Where here there is sort of like, you are watching the Rams, butt their heads. And I do kind of love that, especially because they're so virtuosic in this period.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Okay, I got it all.
And then Circus. Circus, and then Vultures, which we went pretty in depth in the last episode.
Great version of Vultures.
Yeah, I agree. Beautiful, dissonant, and some insanity in there as well. Really nice. And then, it moves to a McGrupp. And every time McGrupp starts, I get so excited. And, I loved this one too.
Yeah.
It was great. Huge energy, precision, nothing outside of the box. But I guess the last one we discussed was that one in Europe that was so wild and reggae and crazy that it was nice to go back and listen to just a straight, standard, clean McGrupp. This one was great.
It was. And Paige is playing really beautifully at this point. It's a real class act.
Yeah.
And then we close out the show with a Mike's Hydrogen Weekapod, the classic groove.
Classic, yeah. The Mike's groove. And this Mike's also gets a headphone. Which,
what do you think about that?
I mean, totally unnecessary. I still loved it.
Yeah.
It was great. The tempo, like the dance groove right off the top. every Mike's at 97, 98 Mike's grooves. They start, it gets through, and then right when it drops, like the dance right at the beginning and the lights get red.
Yeah.
Oh, like it. This one was just, it was like a warm blanket. You kind of needed, the set had a lot of angst up till that point.
Right.
And it felt really, it was like Page's solo in McGrupp, where it just kind of left it left it open and it was breezy. And, this was that like perfect deep groove and like a warm blanket of groove. It was great.
Yeah.
Really well done.
But I will say, yeah, I mean, it's funky. like they're again kind of bringing the funk back in the set, where the set so far has not been funky, and then they're again reminding us, just like with the opener, hey, guys, just in case you forgot, we're kind of a funk band now, because the mics itself is very funky. But then instead of, what I like is when we go to potentially where it would be simple, where it would be the simple
drop. The jam too.
We don't get the simple drop, but we get like this sludgy bass bomb infused slow blues section.
It's gorgeous.
Really kind of like, it's really cool, and then it sort of slowly evolves into this nasty little bugger of a jam. Like
it's kind of Pink Floydy, but then it gets really dark.
Yeah, it gets dark again towards the end. And something I thought was, they played in San Francisco a lot of times. They've probably played on many Mike's grooves. And to think about how far Mike's groove has come over the years, when I think about like a 91 or a 92 Mike's groove, or even like a 94 Mike's groove, and then to think of how huge this thing is, how many different styles of music they're covering, and just the amount of improvisation. It's a pretty impressive feat. This is not the greatest Mike's of the year. It's not, something I would put on a list. But it is still a great listen.
Yeah, great dance party groove at the beginning, and a really nice, mellow, beautiful second half. And then into Hydrogen, which, I don't know, every time in Mike's, like, I hope for Hydrogen. I really do. I appreciated all the sandwiches. I appreciate the simple transitions, but it was just nice. And you knew, perfect, it's going to be Hydrogen, it's going to be Week Upon, we're going to be out. It's perfect.
Yeah. And it was very nice. Very well played. And then we get to the Week Upon. Well, I would say it's nothing particularly special for 97, except for
it hurts you, but it was really weighed down by the birthday, I thought.
Right.
Like, I appreciated the birthday, and we were all so excited and wishing the birthday to you. But to be honest, for me at this moment, I was like the band in that I felt they hated when people said they were like the Grateful Dead.
Right.
And I felt for them, and I fought tooth and nail with people. They are not the Grateful Dead.
Right.
Yet here they were at Shoreline Amphitheatre, kind of dipping the hat to Jerry, which was nice, but also, and the scene and the crowd, it was very well done. But it kind of took away from the Week Upon being very good.
Yeah. Especially for this era, the Week Upon could have been insane.
I mean, maybe it's why the next one they played was just insane at the Gorge, because this one was kind of meh. Right. And the mics, I don't want to shit on this mics. It has headphones, which may be mildly undeserved, but it was very good.
It was very good, and it's a great end to the set. But
sure,
if we're after we talk about Cinnamon Girl Encore here in a minute, which again was a nice little treat. And we're going to be discussing some other shows, this Mike's groove might be one of the things that knocks the show down a little bit for me.
Maybe. And also there just was no warm hug at the end of the show.
No slave, no
because and there's a lot of songs that could fit in there even. And now they have more ballady dad rock songs, but it's about grounding you back in earth and kind of teaching you, hey, like, hug your neighbor, look out for each other. This is all going to work out. Like, Phish does a good job at that.
Right.
And I think, like I said, they were a younger band and they weren't quite as skilled craftsmen at crafting their, your mood.
Right.
In a way that they become better at over time. And, even if they had done something post Cinnamon Girl, and I remember in the moment, Cinnamon Girl started, and I was like, oh, whoa. And it's very slop Neil Young rock. I was like, this is great. But then after it, I was kind of hoping for something.
Yeah, me too. I think I think what I'm
Rocky
hearing
Top.
from you is like maybe, I mean, sure, it's a little early, but you would have loved to hear a Show of Life in that spot.
Sure.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Or even like Bouncin' or Rocky Top. Like something simple and clean and fishy and positive and go home with a smile. Cinnamon Girl was great.
Any
and a really
on a
interesting choice. I take it. Hell yeah. Hell yes.
So
I'll always take a Sleeping Monkey.
There's the show. All right, let's talk about some other highlights. Guys, Sam,
you got nothing to say about Cinnamon Girl?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool song. It's not like one of my favorite Neil Young songs. I didn't think it was like a particularly special performance. I mean, it's, workmanlike. It was fine, but not a special musical moment. I'm not listening to it when I go back and listen to the show. I will say that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I hadn't really, and I listened to it this time, and I was like, meh.
But a lot of people are like, they played a Neil Young song, and I think, okay, great, that's cool. Like, I'm cool with the nod to Neil, who does the Bridge School benefits there, which they would play the following year. They're obviously were treated really great by Bill Graham Presents, and they wanted to give a shout out to that community, which they did. And I feel like that's what that was all about. Like both the Weeka Pie and the Cinnamon Girl were sort of a shout out to the San Francisco community that they were, kind of slowly becoming a part of. So yeah, cool vibes in terms of like musical prowess. Not amazing.
Yeah. Okay, that was Shoreline, and so Ian is better at this than me with re-listening, and I did not listen to Starplex in Dallas or South Park Meadows in Austin at all, although I have in the past, but it's been years. And I kind of put all my effort into Desert Sky and Ventura because that was where the tour started for me. So hit me up on the Texas leg.
All right, here's the deal. Before we get to Texas, we got to talk about Atlanta, 7/23/97.
Oh yeah, Atlanta too.
Which has like the Ghost.
Yep.
I'm not one to choose, and I'm not choosing, and there are tons of amazing ghosts. But gun to the head, I'm probably choosing 7/23. It's a funk monster. second half 97 style with Trey doing his cool tone. I can't say enough about it. I know at the time I was probably a bigger fan of this You Enjoy Myself than maybe you guys were. Maybe I overplayed it. But I love this You Enjoy Myself with the Scent of a Mule kind of klezmer jam tacked onto it, and them kind of, raucously singing.
Well, this got the official release, and
It did,
I
yeah.
mean, I listened to this last year again, so
Yeah.
I'm a little fresher on this one. I loved this show.
Oh,
I mean, this
well, there you
Julius
go.
is one
Yeah.
of my favorite Julius ever.
Yeah, the
And
Julius.
this made it into our Julii list, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Really amazing show. The Limb by Limb Smokes. I feel like we talked about it before as well, and we will in the future. The recording sounds a little thin at times just
Right.
because it's so clean. But yeah, Ghost. Wow.
So yeah, but Sam's right. Like it's great all the way through. Oh, man, all these shows are just so good. And then we get to the Starflex 725. Now, I'm just going to say up front that in the second set there is a Yamar drums Ghost jam, as in Bob Giuliotti's playing on both these shows all the way through. That Yamar drums Ghost jam is just an absolute disaster of a train wreck. I mean, it is horrible. That being said, this first set, I honestly think this first set is a contender. It should be on a list of top 10 greatest first sets ever played. I think it's probably my favorite first set of the entire summer. Maybe the Gorge Night 2 set 1. I don't know. I'd have to look things up.
Do you think it's because they knew they were going to have a guest for the following 3 sets?
I'm not really sure, but I do know that this Wolfman's Brother and the Maze is very similar to the one at Shoreline, and it's kind of jazzy. The Wolfman's Brother is incredible. Water in the Sky is great. And then this Bathtub Gin Makasupa AC/DC bag. I mean, this run is just like, it's just something you just like, put it on, start it over, put it on, start it over. It's just, to me, is just so insanely great all the way through. The Bathtub Gin has some of the most crazy polyrhythmic jamming that I've heard them do. in terms of cow funk, not pure funk, but just this sort of really unique, insanely psychedelic Phish funk in this bathtub jam. The Maka Super Policeman is very fun. And then the AC/DC bag is a set closer, which I love. They did it a couple times in the future. They really take their time with it. It's at a slower pace. And then as they start to build at the end, it's almost like I kind of think of the way that Fishman mentions in the Phish book about how they were learning to play funk from the meters. And that no matter how slow you're playing, you should probably play a little slower. And I feel like they really took that to heart in this AC/DC bag, where it just kind of feels like it's a half, a quarter, or an eighth step behind of where it should be, but it just works so good. And this was one that I listened to with Susie and the kids, and they sat there quietly, and then when it was all over, they all looked up, and they looked at me and went, "Whoa." And I was like, yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, amazing first set. Check it out. Okay, and then the next night.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'll do that.
Yeah, the next night we've got more Gugliotti, and some of it works better than others, but I don't love it. I mean, like, it has a long David Bowie. I love David Bowie, and this has some great sections to it. But
I remember the Timber Hoe being cool.
Yeah, the Timber Hoe is really
headphones
cool.
in the books too.
And I think that Bob Gugliotti fits well on it. I don't know. There's the Limb by Limb opener is cool. The Free has a nice bass jam, but again, we're going to get so many amazing Frees here. Even just coming up in Ventura right here, that it's not even necessarily worth pointing out how amazing it is. Although the Johnny B. Good, as always, stellar.
Yeah.
And then we get to Desert Sky Pavilion.
Yep.
Undeniably an underrated show. Sure, the Antelope.
Potentially. I mean, it's rated pretty high on
it is
Fishnet nowadays.
And it does have the Antelope Velvet Sea on a live bait, so that's something. Trey has vocally said that he thinks the Gumbo is one of the greatest things they've ever played.
So being young and being ready to be on tour, and we had mail ordered all of the shows we were going to see. And so I have official Phish tickets. They're all beautifully colored. They're embossed with these like raised rainbow stamps that are different for every show. Phish used to like put so much work into this. It was so cool. I remember getting this thick envelope in the mail and just, I mean, it took me 20 years to pay that credit card off. But it was something else. And we knew like this was a once in a lifetime experience. And So we had a friend in Phoenix. So I remember we drove and stayed with her. And then it was hot. It was one of those high 90s kind of days.
Right.
I remember 98 Phoenix was the same. And they had mist tents everywhere.
Right.
And I remember this night to start my tour, we were, I think, 11th row in this, like, in the aisle, but in the center section aisle on Page's side.
Gotcha.
And I remember it was just me and my partner at the time. Just the two of us had tickets there. Because there were some nights we all ordered together. Some nights we ordered like in pairs to try and get better seats. Some nights we all kind of decided to get lawn. And this show changed my life. I mean, I was already excited about seeing this tour, but I didn't know this Phish yet. I really didn't know this Phish yet. And every second of this show, like this theme from the bottom is drilled into my memory.
Yeah.
And it's not special. It's good. But I just remember this was my first real theme from the bottom. And I hadn't seen them since New Year's 96 in Boston.
Right.
So it had been 8 months. And the band,
yeah,
an entirely new band.
Yeah.
By the end of the show, I just remember getting back together with everyone after the show and just pulling my hair out like, I had hair then.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened? What is this? And this night really sealed it. Maybe I'm biased because of my experience, but I've never seen another Phish show that sounds this way, heard another Phish show that sounds this way. It has its own sound.
Yeah.
I think Ventura the next night also has its own sound. They're weird outliers. I don't know why. But yes, this show fucking rocks.
Like 722, we did get a lightning storm during this show. Particularly in the second set. I remember during the Antelope, there was lightning coming down, and that was like really cool because it wasn't raining or anything. It was just like this,
just heat lightning,
the desert lightning, and it was a real trip. But I loved the show. I will say, just from the memory lane, we were all staying at Sheila's place. Sheila, shout out, and it was, she was hosting all of these young heads.
The whole floor, yeah.
And and I remember it was like in the afternoon, and we had a couple hours before the show, and everybody was snacking, had many bowls have been smoking, and I had just purchased Remain in Light before we left. Hadn't listened to it yet, and then we threw on and we listened to the entire Remain in Light all the way through, like 10 plus people just packed into a living room. I think all of us kind of hearing this album for the first time ever. So that was kind of a historic moment in my brain, adding to the lore of the day. And I remember it just being like a chill vibe at the venue, just not stressful at all, just everybody really cool, lots of space. And
I think they took my Smarties at the door. I remember being pissed, but I showed up, it was really hot and I was a different man then. So I think I remember wearing like corduroy pants with patchwork sewn in the side and no shirt.
Right.
And probably a hemp necklace and a ponytail. And it was like I was tan because I surfed all the time, and it was hot is all I remember.
Yeah. And
just really dancing a lot this night and really like feeling in my heart like this was going to be the summer of my life. It really had energy. And I think I remember the Remain in Light. I remember being at Sheila's house. I remember all of it. Like it's not like yesterday. It's like it's foggy, but
yeah, first night of the tour, that's a big deal. Yeah, you were. And what a show. So I mean, it's Theme from the Bottom, Beauty of My Dreams, got this incredible gumbo, Dirt, Sparkle,
headphones gumbo, yes.
Yeah, and then
my first Ghost.
The Ghost, Swept Away Steep, Loving Cup. Loving Cup was a big deal at the time. Everybody was really excited that they played Loving Cup. I personally thought Swept Away Steep was really exciting because I loved that off of Billy Breeze.
Always a fan.
And I didn't think
I saw a bunch of 96. I've always loved it.
Yeah, I didn't ever really kind of imagine seeing one live, so I thought that was really cool. Yeah. And The Ghost, I think, is a little bit better than the Shoreline one. And they're both
This is my first ever Ghost, man. It was like super grooving and fun, and then builds to this big rockin' ending, like really clean, solid Ghost.
And then we get to the second set, we get the Olivia's Pool, which, early shafty, but fun, We get this incredible run like in Antelope. Jammed out.
It's also Live Bait Volume 18. Correct. So this will fuck you up in that the same way the Runaway Jim does, where if you go listen to it out of context, you're like, why will we not release this show?
But
of the shows, well, the shows of the summer that need to be officially released, Alpine Valley first, I think Desert Sky second.
I'm with you. I do think, conversely, The Waiting in the Velvet Sea is better not on soundboard.
Yeah.
I feel like it has more power and more bass in the audience recording, because I listened to both and I was a little bit more moved by the audience recording. But for sure, the Run Like an Antelope, you can't quite hear all of the delicate details going on in the soundboard. You absolutely.
I mean, what a fucking antelope too. You know,
so great.
Like,
yeah,
it's on par to be probably one of my favorite. You know, if you had to like pin me down and say in your top 10 Phish songs, I think Antelope is in that list for me. It always has been. Always has been. And this was probably, one of the top 10 I ever saw.
I mean, it's kind of amazing to think that we saw this one, and then we saw the one at the Gorge in '98, and then we saw the one in the Thomas and Mack in '98. Man, we saw a run of some banging antelopes.
Yeah, this one is incredible.
Not to brag.
Get it. Make sure to listen. Don't slack on it. And then also the twist that gets the headphones.
The twist taste. Let's not leave out the taste.
Yeah.
When we left this show, I feel like everybody was most excited about the taste.
These were kind of my first real versions of these songs too. The band had gotten them in Europe and came back and they were showing off. Oh.
Like, I remember walking out and everybody being like, "Holy shit, that taste!" Because I think with the twist, we had never heard Twist before, so we're like, "That's a cool song," and that had a cool jam. But that jam, much like the Runaway Jim jam, is a bit.
Yes,
wild.
It does get outer spacey, but
a bit wild.
It starts out with this dark blues that was really amazing, and then I'm curious if you heard it because I went back. I was like, "Wait a minute! I feel like I remember hearing this in the moment and since, but I had never thought about it or written it down." So I went back and re-listened again. Right around 17 minutes, it gets really pretty. Straight ahead, Chariots of Fire tease.
Yep.
And it's like, I remember in the moment just going, wait a minute, I know this movie. I know this song. Like, and then the circus comes to town tease in the Yem from Shoreline too. Like, there were the way they weave in this classic music from your life into these moments where it's like, yeah, thank you. And it's like woven in a way that almost doesn't make sense. Like, you're not sure you heard it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the taste was in the box, but so much energy.
So much energy.
Oh
and they would improve upon it, but it is really amazing. Yeah, I think by the 6-minute mark of Twist, it's already an all-time version. Like, it only takes 6 minutes for me to be like, oh, this might be one of the best Twists ever. And in my estimation, I think it's because all 4 members they're playing with a mastery of elastic space. That's like all I could think of when listening to this Twist. Is like how space or sound, how elastic it is, and how they're all relating to one another, and the space between all the notes. And I know that can be like a little bit heady, but I think when you go back and listen to it and you kind of just like listen to how they're reacting to one another, it is very much on rails for a jam that is so abstract. At no point do I ever feel like they're gonna lose it. It just feels exactly perfect how it needs to be the whole way. And I genuinely think if Mike ever starts putting together a highlight reel, he should be looking at this Twist.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So many Mike highlights in this thing.
Yeah. Like I said, the sound they have unique sound. It's weirdly snappy and almost cavernous. And yeah, maybe soundboards would take away from that sound. I can't tell. Dude, and then Sample in a Jar, Rocky Top, Squirming Coil to close.
Yeah.
Like, again, dreams. And, not my favorite song to finish the night, but I remember dancing during Possum and just feeling like my life was perfect. Like, life would not get any better. It was heavenly.
Sam, I just got a text from Bowie, my son. He, I don't know what happened. I don't know where he got this notion that he needed to watch the X-Files but he threw on an episode of the X-Files last week and became instantly addicted. And now we have to watch one every night. And Susie won't watch it with him because it's too scary for her. So I just got a text from Bowie. Where are you? It's X-Files time, motherfucker.
I was getting ready to come up here. I was like warming up some tea and I was like, all right, I'm going to go record. And June walks up and is like, Stranger Things, Dad? Because we're watching, like slowly watching it all. And we're in season 3 right now. And it's getting really good. And like the good part of season 3, which I think is the weakest season. And I was like, baby, I got to go record my podcast. And I got the sound face. Really, Dad? I was like, yep. Okay. Is Mom going to? Mom's not going to watch it. And, like my younger can't watch it with us because, being 10, you're not ready yet. But
Rio's 8, and he's been asking me every day to watch Stranger Things, and I have put him on a training course. So I've got him watching other stuff. I'm like, first you got to watch this, then you got to watch this. You're going to work your way up to Stranger Things. So
yeah, June's ready for horror already. We're there. We watch Wednesday. We watch Stranger Things. Like, I got a little goth kid. It's awesome.
I love it. All right, well, let's finish this up.
All right, Ventura.
Yeah, Ventura. I mean, everybody's heard the Ventura. It's an official release. It's an amazing show. The Bowie City's Bowie is obviously something.
Yeah, I will breeze through as fast as I can, but I will give the overall show MVP to Johnny fucking B. Fishman.
Oh yeah.
This NICU, the chorus in this NICU, the way he plays, I feel like Trey, as he's singing, is laughing every single line because he's just listening to Fishman going, what are you doing right now? Yeah. And to open a show with NICU and to follow it with the first funk Wolfmans I ever saw. I didn't know that they were doing this to Wolfman's brother.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and it's so sparse and incredible. Like, it really is so amazing.
Oh, the last 2 minutes are just joy, pure joy. And what about this? Chalk Dust gets headphones. What do you think about that?
Well, I do. I mean, it's just a rock
It's
and
pretty
chalk dust.
smoking.
It is a smoking chalk dust, but just the way it ends with Trey doing the high pitched thank you like they do on that. That's on the album, right? I feel like that might be what does it, but I do really like it. It really does like charge my mood.
It is very good.
When it kind of like finishes and like thank you, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because that's
I will. I'm going to back up very mildly. So there wasn't a day between these. So Ventura County Fairgrounds is a disgusting dirt indoor like racetrack kind of place that sits right on the beach in Ventura. There's really good waves like right outside the venue. Yeah. It truly is in a parking lot on the ocean. So there's, it came out in a box set with 97 and 98. I think 98's on this list, so we'll get into it. But they're both great shows, and they both have lots of water themes that kind of weave through them. So Water in the Sky being next made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then this stash also gave me one of those photograph moments that I will never forget from this tour, because I love Stash.
Yeah.
And it started and I was so excited, and it hits the jam. And then right around like 7 minutes, it does this shift into a major key.
Right.
And has this melody that repeats like a dozen times. And then just shifts back to minor and dark and evil. But I remember that little ray of sunlight. I remember standing and looking at the stage, and there were some random clouds in the sky, and seeing like sunbeams appear during. Right. It just was this stark moment of, and again, the venue leaves a lot to be desired. But and I'll get into it later in this set why there were some negatives there. But wow, that was a moment, and the stash is beautiful. Really well done.
When was the fight? What song was that in? I can't remember.
Character Zero. We're getting there. Okay. And then following Stash up with Way. I remember Ryan losing his mind.
And you guys, as a crew, were doing the Pray for Way. This was the song that you had been like waiting to get. So this was like a real exciting moment for you guys. And obviously, Way is an exciting thing to see for anybody.
Kind of like Fluffhead at the Arco Arena. This was that moment, and it was a good Way. It was really fun.
And then the band was just in a good mood this night. And then the piper, like a big short piper, but again, I remember us being kind of enthralled with that was an interesting song.
Yeah.
Like the structure of
No,
that song was really cool.
Ryan really adored it too. I remember he
Yeah.
liked the Wayan and the Pipers. He was gushing.
And then the Cars, Trucks, and Buses, Character Zero. So
That's great.
if we're gonna talk about not making it onto a list, you think about the end of Shoreline and the end of this first set. Tough to compare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Cars, Trucks, Buses was good, and the Character Zero was like really good groove. Like I didn't love the song, but it was really just this beautiful groove, and everyone's kind of dancing along, and then a weird energy kind of fed into our circle.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a guy who was wasted, and I don't know how wasted, but pretty wasted. And I think he may have been alone, or he may have had some friends trying to look out for him. And he was just walking through the audience, swinging his fists above his head.
Right.
And he just punched our friend Karen right in the head. And it was this moment where everyone around us kind of like grabbed this guy and tried to calm him down. And he had the crazy eyes. And you're like, what do you do when a guy has the crazy eyes?
Right.
I remember being in Vegas for the Halloween shows, and it was set break. And there was someone, like we always had a pile of clothes, and at some point, or bags. And there was a guy just walking across the floor with crazy eyes, lost. And all pupils, crazy eyes, just walking along, lost. And he kind of fell over our stuff and laid there, and we picked him up, and he couldn't speak, he couldn't see straight. And this guy was kind of that, but it almost seemed like alcohol plus drugs. We couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
But Karen was okay from what I remember. I'd love her to chime in.
Yeah, I forgot that Karen got hit.
Danny
and
listens.
I gotta say, she's the nicest of our group. Without
oh my
question.
God. Yes.
Yeah. Best soul.
And instantly everybody was just like surrounding this guy from what I remember. I mean, like, or is everyone okay? And it really fucked up the end of the set for me. And then set break was like we were all just concerned. It was, like I said, the vibe was weird at the show, but the show was phenomenal. So maybe this one grows over time to like a better show because I don't remember as well. I don't know.
Right. I do remember vibes.
Hindsight's better.
Vibes post-show were like, man, they played some crazy stuff, but I don't know about that venue.
Yeah, it was weird. All right, set 2. Punch to open.
Yeah.
And then my first Funk Free.
For Funk Free, and it's a fantastic.
I mean, what about this Free too? Like really interesting. Like funk rock in a way that like it went from being the old Free to the new Free, but this really is a transition Free. Like it's not just a mic, enveloped bass solo.
Right. And I will say again, this is my fourth show. I remember Free being one of the highlights of the show for me. Obviously
it was fun.
the Bowie Cities Bowie was very exciting, but I didn't know cities. I didn't I didn't have the context for big jams. Like I didn't realize at the time just how great this Bowie was. I remember hearing the tapes of it and then hearing like the transition into cities and out of cities back into Bowie and being like, holy shit, I saw that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, I remember the Bowie in the moment feeling like it was an hour and being so incredible. I remember every moment. I remember Fishman again, like Fishman in the composed part.
Yeah.
During the vocals, he's playing like 30-second notes at a speed that I just like I can't believe. I can't believe some of his playing in this show. It's like he went in faster than I've ever heard him play drums. This is, if you, again, top 10 David Bowies I've ever seen or heard, this would be on that list for me. I'm obsessed with this one. The transition into cities is perfect.
Top
Out
10
of cities is perfect.
Very diplomatic. I would just
Yes.
not even hesitate to go top 5.
But yes, A+ Phish.
Top 5 for sure.
I'm sure most people listening to this have heard this, but if not, just drop what you're doing and go find this and listen to just the Bowie Cities Bowie on its own, standalone. Perfect. And then, like, I think this show, I put Desert Sky Ventura and Shoreline on equal footing. I'll say that. Do I think Shoreline should be or shouldn't be on the list? It's fine because one of these three needs to be.
Right.
But I put Desert Sky and Ventura as equals 100% to Shoreline. And as we nitpick why one is and one isn't, again, weak fourth quarter here, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not weak, just, like the bouncing's great. Uncle Pen's great. Those solos were fire in the Uncle Pen.
Yeah.
The Caspian's a lot of energy, but like a little solo-y Trey, like not.
Yeah. It's a little better.
He kind of gets he gets a little too aggressive. The Fire, though, that's when Machine Gun Trey is very welcome.
Sure.
And then what Encore? Excuse me?
Yeah.
My soul is not going to.
That's your killer right there. Yeah. I think I would be okay with Desert Sky or Shoreline. I think they're peers. I think they're. Sure. I think. Desert Sky definitely has this, when you listen to it all the way through, has a sort of everything works together in a flowy way that I think is quite powerful, that maybe the other two don't have.
Sure.
But I do think Just the Runaway Gem is probably enough to get that show on the list.
Well, I mean, everyone listen to all these. I think of the summer, my summer started out with these three in a row. I just figured every single night was going to be this good. And then we went to the Gorge, which just being at the Gorge is matched, just of places to see Phish that blew my doors down.
Yeah.
And, the back half of the tour had ups and downs, and we'll get into it in the next episode. But these three shows I see kind of as a companion almost, in their own way. So I'm glad one is on the list.
And I would just say, if you're in the, 18 to 25 age range, get yourself a gravity bong. Go ahead and have a little gravity bong session. Crank that stereo up and put on 725-97. Listen to the Bathtub Gin, Nakasupa, AC/DC Bag, and you can thank me later.
what if you're older than that and you still want to have that experience, and with less of a gravity bong, more of like some gummies and a glass of wine?
Yeah, some gummies, take your Prozac. Yeah. Light a candle, a little aromatherapy, some lavender. Yeah, you're good to go.
All right. Well, our next episode,
an adult coloring book. That's what you need. An adult coloring book. There we go. Okay.
My wife is into those. Next episode will be one of two things, listeners. It's going to be episode 50 at Deer Creek on 810, or it will be a standalone episode of Alpine Valley and then Deer Creek. We haven't quite decided. Okay. It may just be Ian and I doing our own Alpine Valley episode. It may be us roping in one or two other really wonderful humans that were at that show with us. We'll have to soften the earth and see what we can dig up here a little bit. But we'll be seeing you then. And I don't have really recommendations. I feel like we just recorded, even though it was a while ago. It's been a busy winter. But I will say I am halfway through Pluribus.
Oh, nice.
I love it. Thank you for the recommendation. Great. I'm really enjoying it. Okay. I just had Emily watch the first episode, and she's now super into it.
Cool.
And I hadn't listened to Street Legal in forever, and I listened to that, and I'm also blown away. So your recommendations landed on me pretty well, and I love them. My only recommendation to you is, if you haven't seen the new Anaconda.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
It made me really if you just want to watch something and laugh and feel like removed from the world and that everything's going to be okay. Like, we don't need to live in this day to day, week to week. We can live in I remember Ice-T and J-Lo and Anaconda, and now I'm watching, Steve Zahn and Jack Black and Paul Rudd, and it's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And it got such bad reviews that I'm like really looking, I'm going in with low expectations, and I know I'm going to love it. So.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. It should be bad reviewed. That's like part of its thing is, I feel like some of those bad reviews are probably tongue in cheek on purpose.
Right.
Which is great.
Next episode, I will come in with my my movie recommendations. Once I get through all the Oscar and critical bait, I'm working my way through it. I've got some tapes.
I have such a long list. Yeah.
But we'll get into it next time. But before we leave this talk about Summer Tour 97, I do feel like we need to give a shout out to the very special Bill Spreck. And thank you, Bill, for being one of my heroes of driving. You never got into an accident. You never got any tickets. You were just always a perfect driver. You had patience for us annoying passenger DJs. And what a great travel companion you were. Shout out to you, Bill.
Bill, you also let us both drive and kind of own that Mitsubishi Montero on our trip too. I remember doing some late night drives with Bill sawing logs, and we were just smoking cigarettes and cranking They Might Be Giants and doing whatever we wanted. And Bill was cool with it. And my shout out, you shout out Bill, I shout out Comet and Sequoia.
There you go.
Because we had two wonderful dogs, as well as four of us crammed it. 5 of us? Yeah. 5 of us crammed into this little bigger Mitsubishi Montero. And I remember the 2 dogs sleeping on top of all of our stuff in the way back. And they made the entire country.
Yeah. It's kind of wild. Those 2 dogs saw a lot of great shows that summer.
And I remember, like, we would get into a venue and we would be in stop traffic. And the first thing you did, you were like, cool, I'm going to hop out and take the dogs out, and just like walked along and met people with dogs. And they were the icebreaker. And they had such a good time. And for 2 dogs that wasn't their favorite thing in the entire world to do, they were incredible on that trip. So shout out to those 2.
Nice. What a good ending. All right, Sam. Well, till next time, and to all our listeners, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you in the Midwest.
Yeah, everyone. Summer 97.
Oh, boy. I got to go. I got a hot date here to watch the X-Files. All right, guys.
You getting in trouble?
Yeah.
Hello there, friends, and thank you for listening. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or would like to reach out to Ian and I about anything at all, you can find us at companion2thecompanion@gmail.com.